Okay, wait, this is wild. Since April 2020, the cost of renting a typical US apartment has shot up almost 29%. Wages, they only grew 22%. That gap right there has created a historic compounding crisis. Right now, a record 22.7 million American renter households are officially cost-burdened. That is nearly half of all renters spending more than a third of their income just to pay for basic housing, leaving zero room for savings.
So why is rent taking such a massive cut of everyone's paycheck? It comes down to a brutal physical reality. We literally do not have enough places for people to live. The United States is currently short about 3.78 million homes. Just to meet basic demographic demand, we need to build a massive amount of housing from scratch. And this severe supply deficit, it is not an accident.
It is enforced by law. In most American cities, up to 75% of the land is exclusively zoned for single-family homes. That means it is legally impossible to build denser, more affordable multifamily apartments on 3/4 of city land. You get sprawling, identical subdivisions and nothing else.
When developers do try to rezone land for apartments, they face intense local opposition. City council meetings turn into shouting matches. Current homeowners fight aggressively to protect their neighborhood character and property values, effectively banning the exact multifamily housing that lower and middle-income renters desperately need to survive.
Now, take that massive physical shortage and add Wall Street capital. In 2025, real estate investors accounted for 30% of all single-family home purchases. 30%! They saw a market with guaranteed high demand and artificially restricted supply, and they bought in.
By snapping up those starter homes, investors directly compete with first-time homebuyers. When families get priced out of buying, they are forced to keep renting. That keeps rental demand sky high, which allows landlords to keep pushing rents up. It is a compounding mathematical loop. Politicians love to blame large institutional investors for the whole crisis. But here is the reality check. Those mega corporations only own about 3% of the national single-family rental stock. The catch? They concentrate their buying power. In high-demand metro areas like Atlanta, they control up to 25% of the market, effectively dominating the local supply. But here is where it gets genuinely weird. The Department of Justice recently busted major corporate landlords for nationwide price fixing. They were using algorithmic software, specifically a program called RealPage, to secretly collude and artificially inflate rents across the entire country. The DOJ sued, forcing a massive settlement and strict federal monitoring in late 2025.
So we caught the price fixers, rents should drop, right? Wrong. Banning an algorithm does not build houses, and right now the pipeline of new apartments is rapidly shrinking. Thanks to high interest rates and soaring construction material costs, developers are abandoning projects. Multifamily units under construction plummeted from a record 996,000 in 2023 to just 686,000 in 2025.
If you are a renter today, this changes everything. You aren't just negotiating with a landlord anymore. You are fighting a systemic, structural deficit. You are trapped between restrictive local zoning laws, a highly financialized housing market, and a literal macroeconomic shortage of millions of homes. You are paying the price for decades of underbuilding. Rent control policies and DOJ antitrust lawsuits might make great headlines, but they do not build actual housing. Until cities legalize building denser housing and developers actually construct those 3.78 million missing homes, the math simply will not change.